friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope this is not a sweaty video because it is hot. It is hot here in New York City, but it is hot all across the world. My mom in Jamaica talks about the heat, and I know everybody thinks tropical country it's hot all the time. When I was growing up in Jamaica, we wore blazers as part of our uniform at my high school. It was cool. Now this might just be nostalgia recreating memories, but it never used to be this hot. We went to Jamaica a few months ago, and no, 2 months ago, and my daughter got a heat rash and was scratching the entire last week we were there. It's hot in Jamaica. But okay, so you don't believe that Jamaica could be cool? We lived on the, well, where I lived was on the top of a mountain. We were cool. We're not cool anymore. But it is hot in Europe. Did I hear on the news that England had their highest temperatures ever last week? It's hot, guys. And if you don't believe that climate change is real, it's the science saying this now. It's your experience telling you this. And maybe it's time to start believing what other people are saying. Like I heard someone say yesterday, it may already be too late for us to reverse what has happened to the climate. We may have gotten past that point. Maybe we can't make it go back to where it was, but we certainly can't make it get any worse. Climate change is something that you have to do today, and I have to do. Like, we have to work on this. Whatever it is that you need to do in your space, and this didn't start off being a rant about climate change and about our individual responsibility, but I think it's necessary. Climate change is something that we each of us have to grapple with, what we are doing personally to contribute to the world getting hotter. So if you don't already recycle, start recycling today. Separate your plastics and your paper from your regular garbage. Make a compost heap if you can. A lot of places now have compost pickup in their garbage pickup, so you don't have to mix your food scraps with other things. We started a compost heap, and when I realized how much of our trash was not really trash, it was things that could go back into the ground, take them out of a landfill and put them in the ground, I realized just what I am doing to contribute to climate change. So whatever you need to do today, stop using aerosols, stop using so much water, becoming vegetarian. I don't know what scale. I'm not vegetarian, by the way. I'm not preaching to you. I'm just saying there are lots of things that each of us can think about doing and actually start doing. Plant a tree if you can. Get involved with a non-profit organization or your local park that works on planting trees, and plant a tree. Yeah, do something today for the climate, guys. It is hot, and mama can't process heat very well. So yeah, I don't want it to get any hotter. It's July. I know it should be hot, but it shouldn't be this hot, and it shouldn't be this hot for so long. So yeah, rant aside, today's video we're here to talk about books and reading progress and reading goals progress. So at the beginning of 2022, I made some really astounding reading goals. Looking back at the goals that I set, I don't know if I forgot that I am a mom for a very curious, adventurous toddler who likes her independence, but also likes to be attached to me whenever she wants to. So I don't always get a chance to read. Several days in the past couple of months, several days have gone by where I didn't read a single word in English or any other language, because when my daughter is awake, I'm with her all the time, and I love it. I love it because she's gonna be going to school soon, and I know I'm gonna miss these days where we're just kind of doing whatever we feel like. But yeah, some days I don't read anything, and I know this kind of goes along with the territory, and that's fine, but I think I forgot that at the beginning of the year when I said I would read 150 books this year. I don't know what I was thinking. Was I smoking? I don't smoke, but was I on some? I don't know. I set some really inspiring goals at the beginning of the year. We probably won't meet them, but that's fine. We have them. So right now, in the past the middle of the year. I'm not even quite past the halfway point of that goal. I'm still hovering around 70 books read so far this year, and a couple of them are books that I need to reread because I didn't get what I should have gotten out of them. So yeah, we're gonna say 65. We're gonna say 65 books that I have read, completed, and are ready to mark off. So I'm not quite on track to meet my 150 books this year, but that's fine. I'm reading a lot. I'm reading a lot more than I probably could have read. And I just heard Heidi from my reading live, so she's doing 30 books in 30 days. No, she's doing August. She's doing 30 books in 31 days. And then there's Shorty September, where the objective is to read a lot of short books and get your number count high. I don't know if I'm participating in any of those things, but it's really inspiring to hear other people talk about it, and maybe there'd be a little bit of a trickle down effect. So no, I don't think I'm going for 30 books in 30 days or 31 days. I don't think that's happening anytime soon, but I'm gonna try. For now, we're gonna say I'm not quite at the place where I should be in terms of my number, but we're gonna get there. Other things I wanted to just kind of look back at are some of the specific books that I said I wanted to read this year. So we did a lot of list challenges last year. For Vlogmas, we did a list every day. And I went through some lists of classics and modern classics and some backlist books that I keep hearing people talk about, keep hearing mentioned on Jeopardy, which that's one of my big life goals, is to be on Jeopardy. And I think, we come to that in another video. But yeah, I want, whenever there's a Jeopardy episode and we're watching along, that I know all the answers to the book category questions. That's my goal. I'm starting small. So right now, a lot of the books that are mentioned on Jeopardy are classics, modern classics, quite often American writers, and a lot of them are books that maybe get assigned in high school or in college reading, and I never read them. So I made this list at the beginning of the year. That's a lot of preamble, right? I made this list, some infographics, and I'll flash them here. Showed you some of the books that I want to start reading this year. I knew that I wouldn't read all of these books, but at least to make a sizable dent in this list and work my way through it over the course of several years. But these are the books that I said I wanted to read this year. And so far, I'm not doing so great. So here are some of those lists. This is my classics TBR. Jane Austen's Persuasion, I read. Elizabeth Taylor's Mrs. Palfrey, the Claremont, I read. This looks great, right? Of the 12 books on this, I've read 3 of them. I read Jane Austen, Elizabeth Taylor, and Charlotte Perkins Gilman's The Yellow Wallpaper. All of these other titles you could see here are still books that I want to read, intend to read, but haven't gotten to yet. In this graphic of 12, I've read the first and the last titles. I read Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie and My Antonia by Willa Cather, and the others are still unread. I'm going to get back to this list. I think I haven't been paying enough attention to it when I'm making my TBR each month. From this list of 12, I've read 2. I read Richard Wright's Black Boy and Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. All the others are still hanging out on my TBR. From this infographic, I've read 2. Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll and The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I have read the others. No, haven't gotten to. The Souls of Black Folk is a reread for me, but no, I still haven't read it. It's on here, and I haven't read it since I made this graphic, so no, haven't read that one. What about the next picture? The next picture, I haven't read any of these. Little House on the Prairie was on my list for middle grade March. I didn't get to it. A couple of these others, right? The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, I could have gotten to middle grade March. Didn't get to any of those. I've been having a reading slump, but also, like I said, just haven't had a lot of time. And then here's another one. These are now backlist books, so these are not necessarily classics. Maybe some of them are modern classics, but I haven't read any of these since I put them on the list. And some of these are big books, like Infinite Jest is about 1,000 pages. It's a big book, haven't gotten to it. A Little Life, Hanya Yanagihira, I haven't even cracked that book open. So no, I haven't read any of these, which is startling, but also sad. Jonathan Franzen, I want to read the corrections. I want to read more from this author. I read another of his books, I think since I made this list, or was it last? no, I think it was since I made this list. Jonathan Franzen has a new release. It is called Crossroads, and I read it and really liked it. I read it for Booktube Prize. It's a new release from last year, and so I could probably replace Corrections with that book, but no, it's not a backlist. And I said I wanted to read these backlist books. So no, I haven't read anything from this list. What about the next list? The next list I've read too. Yay! I read On the Road by Jack Kerouac, which I was really happy about. And I read Reading Lolita in Tehran, Azar Nafisi's memoir. So read that. You see this whole Harry Potter collection? No, I haven't even touched one of those Harry Potter books. I read the first book years ago. I'm gonna start again, so I have to start back with book 1. But yeah, from this list I've only read 2, and then I think this is the final picture. And from this group of 12, I've only read 1. I've read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Buddy read that with Columbus and Rosalie a few months ago, and had some real issues with that book. But yeah, that's where we are. So no, I'm not on track to meet my number goals. No, I'm not on track to finish my classics and backlist TBR this year, but I'm still having a fantastic reading year. I have read a lot of great books. I've been introduced to some books this year that were not on my radar at the beginning of the year, but I have loved. Another thing that I'm doing here in my bookish life is I'm reading books by Caribbean authors with the ladies from the Runwright Reads book club. And I say ladies because they're all ladies right now. But if you'd like to join the Runwright Reads book club, we are still open to accepting new members. Hit me up in the comments down below if you want to do that. So in the beginning of the year, I came up with a list of books for January through July. We changed a book in February, and we also changed the books in June because of Caribathon. Hashtag Caribathon. Check out those videos if you want Caribbean recommendations and chatting about Caribbean books. Yeah. So check the hashtag is what I mean, or check the playlist. But yeah, we've been doing fantastic with the books for the Runwright Reads book club. Like I said, we made some changes as the year has gone on. We didn't read the books that we had selected. In June, we read something else, and we did a group read for Caribathon, and we had a discussion. If you want to check out that video, it's on Instagram. And in July, we're not reading a book together because most of us have a book that we need to catch up on. Like, there were a couple of books that I didn't quite finish and wanted to get back to or wanted to reread. So we're doing that in July. We're using July as our catch-up month, and then we're going to be starting our list again in August. So we've been doing great with that. That's helping me meet another one of my goals, which is to read more books by Caribbean authors. So that's great. And then my classics and backlist TBR, you see that. And yeah, so that's how my reading is going for 2022. Not great according to the standards that I set in the beginning of the year, but fantastic considering everything else that's going on, like extremely warm temperatures and me not reading a lot, but somehow still managing to accomplish reading targets. I don't know. Another thing that I wanted to do this year was to read all my Booktube Prize books at least a week before the judging ballots were due. That has not gone so great. Quite often, on the day when the ballots are due is when I'm finishing a book. So I always start early. But like I said, reading slump, and just sometimes it's hard to finish books. Sometimes some of the books aren't always that inspiring either. Let's be fair. All the books for the Booktube Prize are not prize-winning books. This round, I've been reading nonfiction, and I've been reading some really great titles. I am on track, I think, to finish early because I have a week left before the judging, and I have 2 books to finish. One of them is a book that I'm going to have to buy because I was waiting for a copy to come in from the library, and I'm still hundreds behind first place in line. I guess what I'm saying is there are almost 300 copies and about 800 people in line. I'm about 600 and something, which means that if all the people who had a copy out turn it in time, then it should only take about 2 weeks for me to get my copy. But I've been online for the book for about 2 months, I think I put myself online when I first was assigned the book. So I've been waiting for this book to come in from the library, and I'm not talking about a physical book either where people can hold them out. I'm talking about e-copies. So I think there's a little bit of a glitch in the system. So I'm going to have to buy a book for the Booktube Prize, which I don't usually do. I usually try to read free copies. But yeah, that will come in, and there's another book that I have to read. So yeah, hopefully Booktube Prize will continue to go well. And so yeah, that's how I'm doing with my reading goals and reading intentions this year. I need to update my reading journal. That was another goal of mine this year, and I kind of fell apart in the last couple of months. I need to update it. You know what happened? Let me tell you what happened with my reading journal. My reading journal is highlighter based this year. I have these places where I'm filling in things using highlighters. And my daughter got to my highlighter collection and just like she's used them up. And what she hasn't used up, she's left uncapped. And I tried to go back. Guys, but you know, the highlighters are cheap. Most of them are old. I haven't bought highlighters, I don't think, in the last 10 years. So a lot of the highlighters were old to begin with. So, you know, it's fine. That's what she does to amuse herself. She's learning to write. And so she wants to hold everything that is pen or marker based to write with. And so I'm encouraging that. I'm not discouraging her. I just need to get my own set of highlighters again and keep them somewhere on the top shelves like I do with everything else. So I need to get some new highlighters and update my reading journal. And I promise I'm going to share it with you guys. So yeah, that's how my reading and my reading related stuff is going. More content coming soon. I just really need to do a lot of things. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. It went on a lot longer than I intended, particularly because I don't have a lot of reading accomplishments to mention. But thank you so much for being here and just kind of sharing this little check-in with me. Let me know in the comments down below how you're doing with your reading goals. If you are on track to meet the targets that you set at the beginning of the year, or if you're one of those people who did not set reading targets, how are you astounding yourself with your reading, with the reading you've done so far in 2022? So yeah, would love to chat with you in the comments down below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you haven't already, and subscribe if you like this video, you want to see more from me. Subscribe and click the bell notification so you don't miss when I post videos. I don't have a regular posting schedule. I would love to have one, but for right now I'm gonna say there's a new book list on Thursdays. I'm keeping my expectations. I'm managing my expectations. I'm managing your expectations of me. New videos on Thursday and just whenever else I can post. So thank you so much again for being here, and I look forward to chatting with you. And until we come back for another video, happy reading. Bye.